Hi there, beer hunters. Welcome to another episode of the Beer Huntress. I hope we're all exceptionally well. My name's Jo. I'm the manageress of a bar in Wigan called Wigan Central, which is in Greater Manchester, and we are all about the beer. And that's exactly why I'm here for you today. I am here to review a beer for you, but I haven't picked what it's going to be yet. So this is why we turn to the Wheel of Styles. The Wheel of Styles is going to pick what style we're going to have tonight. And then I'm going to pick a particular beer, tell you about the style history, tell you a bit about the brewery history, and then we'll review the tasting notes. So shall we check out what we're going to be drinking? Here we go. Belgium. Excellent, and I know it's just the one, my personal favourite. Let's take a trip to Belgium, shall we? So we're on Belgians, fantastic. I absolutely adore Belgian beers. They are very, very close to being one of my favourite styles next to a black IPA, but they do have a massive broad range in comparison. But Belgian beers are just such a fantastic style. Now this is Rochefort, and this is their number 8, which I personally think is better than their number 10. They produce 3 different ones, they're 6, 8 and 10, and their 10 is quite considerably higher, 11.3%. This is at 9.2, and I actually think this is much better than the 10, but that's just my opinion, so I'm sure you can all argue with me in the comments all over that one. Rochefort is one of the 14 Trappist breweries in the world, and in order for a beer to be classed as Trappist, it must be brewed by the Trappist Cistercian monks. It does get a bit more complex than that though. So the concept of Trappist monks is it's a very strict observational sideline of the Catholic Cistercian monks, and they have very particular rules about the way that the Trappist monks behave and the way that the monks should behave within the abbey themselves. Now, it became quite a big thing in Belgium for beers to be called Trappist, even though they weren't actually being brewed by the Trappist monks themselves. They were still being produced with monastic brewing techniques, and even by some monks themselves that weren't a part of this particular order. However, in 1997, 8 Trappist breweries got together, 6 Belgian, 1 Dutch and 1 German, came together and decided that they would create the ITA, which is the International Trappist Association. And this put down 3 very strict rules in order for a beer to be classed as a Trappist. The first is that it must be brewed within the abbey walls or the monastery walls of a Trappist monastery. Number 2, it has to be produced by the monks themselves or under direct supervision of the monks. And number 3, it must be a total non-profit organisation. Any of the proceeds that come from the production of any product by the Trappist monks themselves, including the beers, must not go to any other expense except for paying for the upkeep of the building and looking after the monks within the monastery and the walls themselves, and for charitable donations only. It must not make any money for any other particular reason. So with these 3 strict rules in mind, they produced something called the Authentic Trappist Product logo. And that logo is featured just here on the bottle. We'll take a quick look at that. And that is attributed to a genuine Trappist product. Now, it doesn't have to be beer. Trappist monks produce wine, they also produce cheeses and other products as well, and they can get that logo on there too, but it's mostly recognised as being the Trappist product. Now, we talked about there being 14 Trappist breweries in the world. There are 6 in Belgium, so we have Echa, we've got Westmalle, who originated the concept of a triple. Westfalen, which produces the Westfalen 12, which is considered to be one of the best beers in the world. Chimay, we have Rochefort, which we'll be doing today, and we've got Dorval, which is well known for its unusual yeast strain and use of Brettanomyces in its beer. There are two Dutch, which is Le Trappe and Zundert. There is one Austrian, which is Engelsau. We have one in the US, which is Spencer Brewer, one in the UK, which is a late edition, which is Mount St Bernard or Tint Meadow. We also have two later editions, one in France and one in Spain, and Trefontaine, which is not to be confused with the Belgian Trefontaine, which is in Italy. The majority of Trappist beers, regardless of whereabouts they're actually brewed, are usually brewed with the Belgian style in mind. And so they produce Belgian doubles, triples, and then either quads or Belgian strong ales. And this is where Rochefort comes in nicely, because Rochefort produces two Belgian strong ales, they're 8 and they're 10. And this is what we're going to try today. Generally with a Belgian strong ale, we're expecting an awful lot of that really nice Belgian warmth coming through. We're going to get a lot of dark fruits, some nice spice, and it's just going to be such a beautiful warmth to it. They do bottle condition their beers, so the base of this has got sugar and yeast into it. The majority of the sugar will have been eaten away by the yeast by the time it actually comes to it, and it just adds a little bit of extra fermentation, which also makes it a little bit more spritzy and a little bit extra carbonation on the tongue and on the palate when we're drinking. Shall we give it a pour? Now I am being a bit naughty. I'm using a Castile glass rather than a Rochefort glass, which is just slightly different, mainly because it's got this absolutely gorgeous base on it and things like that, but it's effectively the same as the Rochefort. Rochefort's just a little bit more bold. Glasses do make a difference when it comes to Belgian beer, as any Belgian experts will tell you. They are specifically designed for the particular beer that you're drinking. So I've gone for the closest thing I could get to. I'm sure I've said before, I do work in a pub, but that doesn't mean I've got full access to all the glasses, and even when I do find that they get stolen, which is a bit of a shame, but I will. So, taking a look at it, it's a beautiful dark brown red, beautiful red tinge just across where the light's hitting it at the back here. It's really nice. The head is slightly off-white, very, very fine, very, very tight bubbles. And I've got a little bit of that yeast going on as well in the middle of it. I can see it all floating around, so I poured it all in. I love Belgian yeast in beers. It's just the sugars in there and the yeast from the bottle conditioning, so it should taste excellent. Let's have a smell. Just smells so boozy. It smells absolutely gorgeous. Let's put my mouth on it. You get all that Belgian yeast coming. Really, really phenolic. You know, all that kind of like medicinal additions to it. You know, really clovey, like a hot toddy. I can smell caramels and like cinder toffee. Carbonation is so full, totally coats the palate, floods the mouth with this really, really strong effervescence. It's really thick candy flavour, tons and tons of it right across the palate, washing right through across the roof of my mouth, straight into the back, and then just giving me tons and tons of sweetness. There's this beautiful, oh, what can I taste there? It's this absolutely gorgeous like liquid molasses thing going on. So thick and full. I've got loads and loads of candied fruit. Really, really sugary, really sweet. really almost cloy, but not sickly, just really coating, really intense. And then all the fruit comes in, and it's dates, and it's prunes, and it's, I don't know if anybody saw me do my Schneider one the other week. It was just like that. It's like so thick and full, all these dark fruits coming through, berries, but like really damson fruits, like proper, almost like a really nice forest fruit thing going on. But it's all sweetened, it's all candied, it's all sugared. If anybody knows how to brew good beer, it's the Trappist Monks, and they nail it every single time. This beer is in a world of its own. There's some phenomenal Belgian beers out there. This stands as trophy winner for me every single time. It is such an amazing beer. It's so strong without being sickly. It's so sweet without being cloy. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Really nice. And then on the finish, that signature Belgian yeast, the warmth, the just this lovely winter's evening sat in front of a fire, beautiful warming sensation, yeasty, bready, all down the throat, slightly medicinal, you know, all that phenolics coming through really well, so you're getting this kind of slightly medicinal flavour. It adds the booze to it, makes it taste its ABV, but boy does it make it so enjoyable. My personal favourite. Love it. And guys, let me know if you've had this beer before. Pop it in the comments and tell me what you thought of it. Remember, keep on tapping your beers. Let the brewers know what you think of them. It's really important to give people feedback on it. And I think it's also important to get those extra badges, don't you? Keep wadge banking, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed drinking this beer. I shall see you all next time. Cheers. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, subscribe and share it with your friends. Hit that notifications button to get alerts when our next video is uploaded. If there's any beers that you'd like to recommend for us to review, pop it in the comments below and we're sure to pop it in the pump for later. We're also on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram, so you can follow us using the links in the description. Keep wadge banking, guys, and I shall see you next time for another episode of The Beer Huntress.